Hey everybody, it's 1:14 a.m. and I'm way off my schedule. I was gonna talk NFL tonight.
Hey everybody, it's
I thought,
1:14 a.m. and
it just didn't feel
I'm
right
way off my schedule.
to do that.
I was gonna
It didn't
talk
feel right
NFL
to do
tonight.
that.
Hey everybody, it's
I
1:14
thought,
a.m. and
it just didn't feel
I'm
right.
way off my schedule.
I
Talk NFL
didn't realize I had all these
Hey everybody, it's
things
1:14
open. So I've
a.m.
got
and
they're all expanding on me like boom, 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 boom. Okay, uh, that happens, but I can't let go talking about the passing of the great Chadwick Boseman, and in particular because I was watching the MTV Video Music Awards with my mom, and we, as it was designed, okay, was going to roll right into a replay, and I thought, I want to see that, so I just flipped channels, and I happened to see ABC's tribute to Boseman, and it was uh, touching, okay, to say the least. And it was really just sad. Um, and what I realized was just how deep the whole country, well, really the whole world, is in mourning over the passing of Chadwick Boseman. And I mean, I know why for myself, right? But I wanted to present why I think it is in general. First of all, it's the tragedy. I saw a video on YouTube that had the title First Kobe, Now Chadwick. They're both unexpected passings of legendary Black actors, in this case, and athletes, in Chadwick Boseman and Kobe Bryant. On There was under the heading of, wow, who saw that coming? I didn't. And but at a deeper level, these two individuals touched so many lives it wasn't funny. And in the case of Black Panther, look, my first realization that there was a Chadwick Boseman came after a number of people. And for me, it was when everyone started talking about 42. You got to see this cat that played Jackie Robinson. And then they mentioned he also played Thurgood Marshall, right? But because of the high level of the story of 42 and how well Boseman performed playing Jackie Robinson, that's all you heard about. You got to see this movie. You got to see this movie. And then when it was announced that Black Panther was going to be made, and they introduced Chadwick, I'm calling him by his first name. I know him. I don't. I only met him as the man who played T'Challa. It just seemed natural. It was not, to me. It was like, oh yeah, of course. And there was no second thought about who else could play him. It was just natural. But again, what I come back to is the very brief time that I met him is just how nice the man is. Yeah, if it's possible that you can actually feel that a person is good, you can feel that Chadwick Boseman is a truly good person. And I think what so many people are so upset about is why the Lord would take him so young. And the answer is yes, he was battling colon cancer. And for 4 years, he kept it quiet. Not something I do. If I'm sick, you'll know it. That's me. Okay. And he was different. But he went through a lot of pain, and you've heard it now again and again and again playing those roles. But to me, he's more than that. And I think when I think about Chadwick Boseman, I think about watching Black Panther once, twice, thrice, fourth, I don't know how many times since. And when I come to Kendrick Lamar's theme at the end, I always start crying. I can't help it. And I think the reason has to do with something that I felt when Thurgood, when the actor played Dr. Richard Daystrom, and Thurgood Marshall was his name, I believe. And no, not Thurgood Marshall. I'm trying to remember. It was. You would think that it would roll right off my tongue, but it wasn't Thurgood Marshall. Because Thurgood Marshall was our Supreme Court justice. Okay, but Dr. Richard Daystrom was a person that in Star Trek lore created. Well, it was William Marshall, not Thurgood Marshall. William Marshall. That's why I got tripped up. William Marshall. But in Star Trek lore, Dr. Richard Daystrom, and I can use the magic of StreamYard to show you what he looks like, was the man who created something called the Ultimate Computer. But what struck me about the Ultimate Computer wasn't so much the computer itself, but Dr. Richard Daystrom. And this was, you have to understand, this was 1967. And you had a Black man presented as a genius. Okay. Now, somebody would counter, well, okay, yeah, but he developed a weapon of war that killed people. And well, my argument was he really didn't do that. I saw the Ultimate Computer as a story of almost a parable of a Black man who was mad at being put down by a lot of people, and the undertone was race. Okay, I mean, he didn't come out and say it, but there was a line where he talked about building on my work, and he was proud of what he built, and the fact that his Ultimate Computer was guiding the Enterprise to destroy what it regarded was its enemies. So he got so caught up in this machine carrying out his own issues, if you will, that he forgot that his machine was killing people for a moment. But the depth of that story, as you can tell, all right, resonated with me as a young person, because when you're Black, people always try to put down, even other African Americans put down the idea that you can have an idea, and they laugh. And I think this, as much as anything else, is what retards us from excelling. And so you always want to see somebody else, Black, excel, right? So when I saw Black Panther, and just, not just Chadwick Boseman, but in the role, okay, but also just this image of an entire nation, Black, that was unfettered, producing scientifically and technologically advanced creations, and producing a desirable place to live, and wrapped in a movie that was, yes, greenlit by a large white studio, but made by not just a cast, but a crew of a number of people, accomplished African Americans, their craft, from lighting to cinema to production design to costumes, Academy Award in that area. And I can go on and on and on. And the whole of taking that in always gives me joy, and it just made me cry with joy. I think that's the best way I can describe it. It made me cry with joy. Tears of joy. Because the only difference between someone achieving what they want and not is this much. And that's defined by, among other things, how people, what kind of roadblocks people put in front of you. And why? And they're always for the most part, not always, but for the most part, they're for some of the silliest reasons in the world. So you come out as a black person, in this case, a black man, and you have a lot of dreams. And your dreams are not, you don't always meet them. Like, for example, by 30, I thought I was going to be married, 2-car garage, kids, beautiful wife. None of that happened. PhD, none of that happened. But that was the plan I had. You know, as I had a marker of where I was supposed to be by 30. Okay, didn't make it. But I also know why. And sometimes I think life is about taking the road as it comes and enjoying it, and not. If I look at Chadwick Boseman's life, I think that sums it up right there for him. I mean, no one knew who he was until he started making, I think, his third movie about an icon, right? And that was Jackie. And then by the time he hit Black Panther, man, it's like, wow, that's it. It became naturally to the role, although he did a fantastic job. But again, he realized as he was doing it, as he was promoting the movie, the gravity with which came what he was doing. As Bob Iger said on the ABC tribute, he says, "I'm looking forward to changing the world." And that's exactly what he did. But I think on the very week, he died on the day, Jackie Robinson Day, which is wild. And it happened to be on the week that the nation was mourning the death of another unarmed black man because a white police officer didn't value that man's life to a point where he would not shoot him, in this case in the back, 7 times. It feels like a soulful scream. It's like the Lord saying, we're going to make you realize the gravity of the evil that you witnessed by using this great man as our symbol of goodness and forcing you to pay attention to him. That's what it feels like. That's what Chadwick Boseman's passing feels like to me. It feels like a gigantic spiritual symbol that like a beacon. And on that, if you're saying, am I calling Chadwick Boseman an angel? Yeah, I am. Unflinchingly, I am. That this occurred the way that it did, the timing, yes, he was always sick, but he could have lived another year or 2 or 3. Maybe he beats it. Okay? But sadly, he didn't. And he was the boss, if you will. He was the on-screen boss of a movie around which everybody was just dying to see the trailer for the sequel. Wakanda Forever. Yeah, I don't believe on this earth we have to be nasty to each other. But what's happened is there's just been way too much nastiness. I mean, way too much nastiness. And we needed to have something to give pause, to quite literally wrench us back into place. And I think this is part of that. I'm not saying it is it by any means, but it's a gigantic piece. It's a gigantic piece. Because look, I don't care what anyone says, the real problem in the United States isn't race. We have, okay, the real problem in our life isn't race or race relations. The media would have us believe that. But the simple fact of the matter is, if you take a look at the percentage of intermarriage around the world, and particularly in the United States, it's common. If you take a look at commercial, upon commercial, upon commercial, upon commercial, and all I have to do is type intermarriage, interracial families rate, okay? Rate, okay? And we find a number of examples where pure and simple, okay? I mean, pure and simple. If you have a look, there's nothing but increases, okay? Particularly if we take 2020, because otherwise you get, all over the place, all right? And rise, right here it says, rise of what's behind the rise of interracial marriage, okay? And that's The Guardian, and this was 2018 here, all right? And it says attitudes, migration patterns, availability of partners, and education are all factors of interracial and interethnic marriages. And it's in the metro areas where it's the most common. Number one is Honolulu, 42%. Look at that. Las Vegas, Santa Maria, Santa Barbara, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Plumman, Melbourne, Titusville, Florida, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Stockton, Lodi, California, Anchorage, Alaska, Ogden, Utah, San Diego, California. These are places where you can't say, oh, it's mostly in the north, or it's mostly in the south or anything. You can't say anything like that about this, all right? And this is us today. So we're at a point where race problem? No, we don't have a race problem. We have a police problem. You understand? We have a police problem. We have a problem of policing, where a unit of government that is basically the best representation of the fact that we really do have a socialist government has been populated by those who have a mentality in a number of cases who think that black folks are bad because again and again and again they have to work in areas where they see poor African American people, and then they go home to their environments which are mostly white in the suburbs, which should not be. And so they get brainwashed after a time. There's no taking a year off and saying, hey, you know what, go live in Honolulu, or hey, we're going to make sure that you have all black friends who are doing X, Y, who are like lawyers, doctors, and everything else. So they get brainwashed. And it's irresponsible to have a mostly white male police force to begin with. And it's no wonder that their feelings that, hey, you have all these problems with white supremacists being a part of it. The problem is singularly there. It is not with the whole country. Yet because it's pushed at us through media and the president, who ought to be bounced out of office right now, we got a problem. The reason why I say the president should be bounced out of office right now is this. Do you realize yesterday that after 21 days, 600,000, not 600, not 6,000, not 60,000, but 600,000. 600,000. I repeat, 600,000 people were without power in, that's right, in Iowa, okay? 600,000 people without power because of a nasty thunderstorm. All right, 600,000 were without power. And okay, and so you didn't know that, right? All right. Okay. You don't believe me? Look at this. Have a look at this, okay? This is I mean, this is like, I'm not making this up. If you didn't hear about this, you should be angry that you didn't know about it. It should have been all over the news, and it wasn't, because this happened in our United States. Monday's derecho damaged 10 million acres of crops in Iowa, 600,000 still without power in the Midwest. 600,000. So what was the media paying attention to while this was going on? Trump. And then the whole deal with the murder or near murder, I'm sorry, of Jacob Blake. He's not murdered, thankfully. And then all the riots from that. And it seemed like the mainstream media literally almost forgot, hey, you know what? 600,000. I repeat, okay? 600,000. Will I repeat that for you? All right. 600,000 without power. And I'm not talking about, this is not a Democratic state. The governor's Republican. But this is how psychotic everything has gotten, and why we needed, the Lord sent us a message, I believe. I'm going to repeat. You have 600,000 people. 600,000 people. All right? 600,000 people who passed away. I mean, not passed away, but who were without power. 10 million acres of crops in Iowa just gone. All right, gone. Okay, and all right, and Trump is planning to visit Wisconsin. Do you know what happened when he visited Iowa? Did he see the damage? Okay, did he see the damage of it? Okay, did Trump go? He went to Cedar Rapids Airport. He stayed in the airport. He stayed in the airport for 30 minutes and left. And those of you who have arrived who didn't reverse this, I said this was reported on the 10th, and they went 21 days without power until yesterday. So there's an old saying, to make assumptions makes a butt of you. All right? Don't make assumptions. Sorry, but I'm really pissed off about this. Because yesterday, if you were paying attention to this, Miguel, you'd have learned that yesterday their power went on. You weren't paying attention to it. Okay? So point is, this nation, like my mom was saying, we had Katrina. Yeah, there's no difference between Katrina and this. All right. The difference between Katrina and this is you saw Katrina unfold. You had no idea this was going on. Many people I talked to didn't. This is the state of affairs that we have sunk to. This is the state of affairs we have sunk to where we could have an entire state quite literally have its economic legs further chopped from it. Hey, I remind you that because of the pandemic, Iowa went from an unemployment rate just over 2% to 11%, had dropped to 8%. Now it's in trouble again. And now, in the middle of this, you have many Iowans who have not collected unemployment insurance, even though they filed for it as far back as April. You hear me? Wake up. Wake up. Wake up now. That's what the Lord is saying. And that's what I believe Chadwick Boseman's passing is saying to us. It's saying, wake up. Because a normal United States of America, normal in operation, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter, would not have let this go. But now we're at a level we just don't seem to care. We care more about, it would seem, what someone likes or dislikes, or having a social media platform where they can go to say something nasty to somebody else, which is in and of itself psychotic. And so it blinds us to what's really happening around us. It makes us not pay attention to the stuff that really matters. The life and death stuff, like, having power. Do you realize that when I first saw the videos that were up about this, they were dated, August 24th, 25th, 26th. I thought, wait a minute, if this happened back, August 10th, and it did, obviously, why are we just seeing the videos? Well, because the power was out. Cell phone tower is nothing. Okay? Hey, if you had analog, you were in good shape. But who did? Not many. I remember seeing a video on TikTok of a lady saying, you hear that sound? It's generators. Not mine, she says. I don't have one. Many of the poor around here can't afford generators. Now, in the past, my past, perhaps not yours because you're probably much younger than I am, I can remember when scenes like that were played out in Africa. And they were asking you to send money because they were truly poor, right? We thought, oh, it'll never happen in the United States. If you're hungry, you get fed, that sort of thing. That's the idea. Well, today, 600,000 people went without power, and they were without power for 21 straight days. I'm going to repeat this again so it sinks in. 600,000 people without power, okay? 600,000 people, all right? More than 600,000 customers, says right here, okay? All right? Remain without power. It says it right here in the text of this USA Today piece, okay? All you gotta do is scroll down, all right? Ruth, look at this. You want to see the video from this stuff? That's an ad. Hold on a second.
The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen in your dreams, kid.
Oh my God. Holy crap. Oh my God.
Okay, they hit the roof.
Walker,
Um, More than 600,000 customers remain without power Wednesday in the Midwest due to the powerful Jericho that roared through the region on Monday. Iowa was especially hard hit as the potent windstorms devastated the state's power grid and flattened valuable cornfields. Officials said full recovery from the storm will take several weeks. The storm had winds of up to 112 miles per hour near Cedar Rapids, Iowa, as powerful as an inland hurricane as it tore from Nebraska, eastern Nebraska, across Iowa and parts of Wisconsin, Indiana, and Illinois, including Chicago and its suburbs. Of the 600,000 powerless as of Wednesday, some 330,000 were in Iowa, according to Power Outage US. Iowa's three largest metropolitan areas, Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, and Davenport, still, I repeat, still, okay, and I will say this again, I repeat again, still had widespread outages as of Wednesday morning. All right? This is your country. This is my country. And you say it's okay and you let it go and everything, then you're part of the problem. You have to start making yourself part of the solution. You have to demand that your government does better. If you can afford to do so, make a vlog. If you want to help the people, find a relief organization. Hey, if you send a dollar, send a dollar. It's a dollar they didn't have before. Okay? Zachariah says, do you think that Trump could have done a better job? I don't understand your question. Trump is the president. And see, again, this is what I'm getting at. This is part of the problem. Do I think Trump could have done a better job than what? He's the president of the United States. Zechariah is part of the problem. You have people right in your own country that expect mediocrity. Instead of saying, hey, look, he could have done a better job, which means you understand how the government works, you ask if he could have done a better job than what? He's the president of the United States. To answer your question, based on my 58 years on this earth, let me tell you something. I don't care what party the president is from. The president doesn't go into a town with a level of disaster like that and stay for just 30 minutes and not return. And then not even use his Twitter account to mention the disaster there and get relief to it. Do I have to spell this out to you? I mean, you're a teenager? I mean, if you're a teenager, okay, I can excuse it because you're learning. But if you're an adult, come on. This is not how the United States worked in the past. It's not how it's supposed to work today. We still are the richest nation on the planet. The trouble is that right now, yeah, and under this president, we don't act like it. Donald Trump is not president. What he is committing is malpractice. Period. End of story. We'd be better off if he simply said, you know what? I can't do this job because I really don't understand it. He's causing too much harm. He's causing people to be pitted against each other. He's using the office for his own benefit. Who has a speech where he puts up a fireworks that doesn't even say Trump Pence 2020. It says Trump 2020. And so with all of this, Chadwick Boseman dies. It's happened for a reason. We are one nation under God. And hey, the God you worship, God love you. All right, God love you. Okay? Okay? Miguel Rolores says, storm unexpected. All right. Never happens. Infrastructure not ready like New Orleans was for hurricane. Wrong. The point that I'm making to you is it's not that. It's about America can do. All right? America can do. Okay? So, pure and simple. America can do. Not America can't. Period. End of story. Okay? That's the point. It's about, and all this is tied together. You can't say, well, I came here to hear about Bozeman. Excuse me. You came to my channel. If you came to my channel to hear about Bozeman, you're going to hear about Bozeman referred to in the way that I describe. This is my personal blog, video blog, and my take. So if you came to hear about Bozeman and you don't like what you're hearing, maybe you're looking for somebody, showing like cute videos and all this stuff and performances that he did and everything else. You're not getting that here. There is a reason people are reacting this way. And you're going to get how a black man, in my case, feels about it, whether you like it or not. If you don't, hey, you can always fly off someplace else. Bye. But here, you're going to hear it. This happened for a reason. And we do have a problem in this country, and you need to wake up, turn your brain on. I mean it. And understand how this country is supposed to work. You don't leave people out there suffering without power for 21 days while you're going out making other people unhappy. And if you're watching this, you think that's okay, you need to sit down, get on your knees, pray to God that God shows you a better way to be, because the way you're being right now is not good. And I'm just telling you that right straight up. You need to improve. Greatness comes just as the cast of Black Panther showed, when we all work together. We're all a team. But when we're splintered, when we're at each other, nothing works right. Chadwick Boseman's passing was a message for us to be our better selves. This nation has not been its better self. Chadwick Boseman's passing was a message to you and me to be our better selves. So in being your better self, do the world a favor. If you're going to get on social media and exchange with people, don't write things that cause somebody else to give a reaction back to you that's negative. In other words, demonstrate some empathy with what the person is saying. If you can't do that, don't stay. And don't be surprised if the person blocks you. I'm just saying, okay? Free speech is not you being nasty to somebody. Free speech is you having enough responsibility to understand how to find the right words to get another person to hear you, to engage with you, and to like you. Free speech is not saying, hey, you're free to say things that get people not to like you. The lesson is one of something called maturity. That is being mature enough to know that just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should do a thing. Be nice. Be nice, be thoughtful, concern yourself with the needs of those who need it, like those folks in Iowa. Again, I remind you, okay, who are suffering from this storm, who need our help. All right. 10 million acres of crops in Iowa damaged. 600,000 still without power. They just got their power back yesterday. This was the 12th of August. They just got their power back. Okay, right there, all right? See that? They just got their power back yesterday. That's tragic. Okay? So be good, people. That's the message of Chadwick Boseman. Be your best self. Be your best self, not just to yourself, but be yourself, your best self to everybody else. Find your better angel. Thank you, and God bless you.